Who has been out front on China, Indiana Congressman Jim Banks, who serves on the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, just tonight, the New York Times reports that the Biden administration has a raft of unexamined evidence. I guess they shouldn't have canceled that ongoing investigation that Mike Pompeo started. Oh, my goodness, this story gets worse by the minute.
It sure does, Laura. I mean, the big takeaway here, I think, is three things. You've already said it very well. First of all, we now know that China and the WHO lied about human-to-human transfer of the coronavirus going all the way back. They knew in November of 2019 the human-to-human transfer occurred, and they lied about it. And that's why, secondly, we should demand in Congress, if we're going to form a 9/11 style commission on anything, it should be about the origins of the coronavirus and the negligence on the part of the Chinese Communist Party and those in our own government that allowed the coronavirus to spread and become a worldwide pandemic like it did. But third, the big takeaway here, Laura, is you've already said it very well. The Democrat Party and Joe Biden cannot afford for a commission like that to occur. This is why they killed the Pompeo probe into the origins, because the Democrat Party and Joe Biden today are wholly owned by big tech and the multinational corporations on Wall Street who profit from a cozy relationship with China. The only way we stop the madness is, as you've put it already as well, is to win back the House majority and do what Kevin McCarthy tried to do last year. He formed what began as a bipartisan China task force. The Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, refused to participate. You already saw on the campaign trail, Joe Biden dismissed China as a threat. That's once again because their biggest donors that put them in power profit off of this cozy, a soft relationship with China. It's not going to change until we take power away from the Democrats.
I mean, I'm getting bombarded by, people who are very close to this entire group of public health officials, and they're wondering when people are going to start going to jail. I mean, if this indeed is a cover-up of the magnitude that it appears to be here, this is the biggest cover-up it could be in the history of the world. I mean, we got millions of people dead. We have trillions of damage done to the global economy, let alone our own country, trillions of dollars gone. And we're supposed to just say, oh, we're going to stop the investigation and move on to fighting white supremacy. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah, I always hate to say, see, I told you so, but I'll tell you, Laura, the very first thing I did when I got to Congress was call on President Trump to dump Francis Collins, because at that point we already knew he was funneling millions of dollars into embryonic stem cell research on the taxpayer's dime. It shouldn't be a surprise at this point that his ethics and Dr. Fauci's ethics, who reports to Francis Collins as head of the NIH, now we're finding out that they were funneling money to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And the culpability there of covering up the origins of the coronavirus. This is a scandal in the making, perhaps like nothing that we've ever seen before in modern times, and someone has to be held accountable. That's why we should have a 9/11 style commission. If we're going to have a 9/11 style commission about anything, it should be about this.
But Congressman, just really quickly, is it not strange, at the very least, that when I first pressed Fauci on this in February, I don't think he had gotten really pressed on this question prior to that. I don't think so. I mean, his instinct is to defend China, instinct to defend the researchers, instinct to defend, what was happening at that lab. And then when he finds out that actually stuff was going on there, if he supposedly didn't know, why wouldn't his reaction be total outrage and we better get to the bottom of this? Wouldn't he and Francis Collins, beyond anybody else, want the answers? Instead, they're answering in these very academic, parsed sentences.
Yeah, just like Joe Biden and Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, Dr. Fauci and Francis Collins, they have a lot at stake here. They're not just their reputation, but what we now know about the origins, or what the evidence that points to where the origins of this coronavirus began. I was listening to the recording dating all the way back then with you, Laura. I think it's very revealing, and there's so much more here that we have to uncover.
Congressman, keep digging. Thank you.